I'm officially Trantifa, okay? Transgender Antifa. Because in the aftermath of any like attempted shootings, school shootings and the like, they would always say, oh, it's a transgender Antifa that's responsible for this violence without any actual evidence whatsoever. And I'll take it. I'll take it for you guys on the chin, okay? I am officially the new transgender Antifa.
So Hasan Piker just responded to being scapegoated for the Trump assassination attempt, and this reveals how the censorship machine actually operates. We're seeing bipartisan attacks on anti-establishment voices using manufactured outrage. This breakdown shows exactly how they silence dissent.
The entire right wing is inside of my ass right now, okay? They are inside of my ass, digging it out. Let's be real. They have been using this to blame me. And it's not just the right wingers as well. It's also people like this, like Clintonites, like right wing Democrats as well.
This scapegoating pattern is textbook political theater. After every crisis, they need a villain to distract from systemic failures. Notice how both parties unite against independent media that threatens their narrative control. It's the one issue with true bipartisan consensus.
I have noticed that virtually every single person that's doing this, Hasan is responsible for the shooting, happens to be a propagandist for the state of Israel. Interesting. Very interesting stuff. I've yet to see a single motherfucker that has been actively saying Hasan is responsible for this, not be a propagandist for Israel. Very strange stuff.
The Israel connection is key here. AIPAC spent over $100 million in 2024 primaries targeting progressive candidates. Critics of Israeli policy consistently face coordinated attacks during moments of national crisis. It's a deliberate strategy to silence Palestine solidarity voices.
If you think that words are violence, okay, first of all, if you're a Republican, you can't say words are violence, okay? You just can't. You're not allowed because Republican rhetoric is unbelievably violent. But if you say words are violence, then what the does that do to the president? What are you talking about? You can't be like defending the president and defending the Republican Party and then turn around and go, words are violence. Look at this Twitch streamer. It's like, yeah, dude, you found a clip of me LARPing in 2018, 8 years ago to like 30 people that are watching, and you're plastering it all over the timeline to be like, this is the guy, as though this is like my advocacy.
Trump literally told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by, called January 6th rioters very fine people, and suggested Second Amendment people could stop Hillary. Yet they're targeting streamers for old satirical clips. The double standard is absolutely shameless.
Also, while there is this like obvious political football taking place between the Republicans trying to blame the entire left and like saying, oh, Hasan is the most violent person that's ever existed, there are also people who are using this as an opportunity to entertain their favorite content creators' personal grievances, like Ethan Klein, you know, IDF's strongest soldier, Ethan Klein, and his community on Reddit, the Sex Pestiny as well, in his community. They're all using this as an opportunity while, you know, presenting themselves as liberals and centrists. They're also pushing this right-wing line, this right-wing narrative, not realizing that that is going to snap back on them as well. This administration is a fascist administration. They make no distinction between your statements that are anti-Trump as well and my statements. You're a idiot for leaning in to this admin. You're an absolute moron, and you are going to get your comeuppance just like I will, okay? If I'm going to the camps, you're going to be there by my side. I hope you understand that. You're a moron, okay? Lock in. If you are a liberal right now and leaning into this ridiculous narrative, the idea that the left is so violent, oh.
Classic useful idiots phenomenon. Liberal collaborators always think they'll be spared if they help purge the extremists first. But fascist movements never stop. They systematically eliminate opposition from radical to moderate. These liberals are signing their own death warrants.
You're a short-sighted, self-defeating, fascist collaborator who does not understand that they are presenting this as a false frame, a false narrative, okay? They do not care. They are not going to ever make a distinction. It's funny because, like, you know, this is the type of shit that Destiny and his community engaged in, except, of course, all of the Republicans are going to turn around and now also attack Destiny in the same way.
Exactly like Niemöller's famous poem, First They Came for the Communists. Fascist Playbook 101. Eliminate the most vocal critics first, then work inward. Today's collaborators become tomorrow's targets once they've outlived their usefulness in legitimizing the crackdown.
This is exactly what happened in Nazi Germany as well. First, they came for the communists. Remember? This is total mental illness, okay? Big props to Mallory McMorrow, Third Way Tweet, and Sarah Longwell for allying ourselves with MAGA fascists like Laura Loomer, gifting her cover to try and criminalize free speech on the left. How come Hasan Piker isn't in jail? Are you just simply a Twitch streamer or a public figure? I think there's a big difference between those two definitions. How do you square that? No, there isn't. A Twitch streamer is a public figure. I've never said I'm not a public figure, but there's a distinction between a public figure and the mother president, okay? There's a distinction between a public figure and the entire right-wing media machine.
The power differential is staggering. One person has nuclear codes and commands federal agencies, the other streams video games. Comparing a Twitch streamer's influence to presidential rhetoric is like comparing a firecracker to a nuclear weapon. Completely absurd.
Literally saying like Hasan is the reason why this attempt happened, and you're over here being like, don't cover the news. This is the news. What do you want me to do? Yeah, my argument isn't I'm just a Twitch streamer, so I'm as irrelevant as any regular person. My argument is just a Twitch streamer compared to actually powerful people like the president, or even Dan Bongino, former deputy director of the FBI. Dan Bongino, do you understand? The words are violence narratives only go in one direction, it seems, because it's being cynically weaponized against the left, and not just the left, but liberals in general. Anyone that has ever criticized the president. That's ultimately what this is. This is an exercise in censorship. And if you can't comprehend that this is an exercise in censorship, you're a idiot and you're not.
Former FBI officials targeting civilian streamers should terrify everyone. This is state apparatus weaponization against critics. Notice words or violence only applies to Trump opponents, never to his calls for retribution, mass deportations, or enemy within rhetoric.
They want to make it so that it is illegal to say the president is a pedophile or the president is a Nazi or even the president is bad. Okay? That's precisely the reason why this is happening. They have done this before. They did this in the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk assassination. They did this in the aftermath of every single instance of political violence. How is this news for many of you at this point? You're in here every single day. You're in here day in and day out. This is not a conversation about me. I am a placeholder right now for transgender. I'm a placeholder right now for Antifa transgender. I'm a placeholder right now.
This creates legal precedent for criminalizing all presidential criticism. Once they establish that anti-Trump rhetoric equals incitement, every journalist, comedian, and activist becomes fair game. They're building the framework for systematic opposition elimination under Trump's second term.
The suspect is not a fan of mine, as a matter of fact. He was a blue sky liberal, was the type of blue sky liberal who hates me because they think I'm like pro Adolf Putler. So remember, all of those same people that have been leaning into the Republicans smearing operation, saying Hasan is responsible for this shooting. The shooter came from their communities. If you're a Dylan Burns fan, for example, if you're a Destiny fan that is currently leaning into the right-wing dog pile because you think it's going to pack me up, you're an absolute moron. As you guys know, I'm not a fan of adventurism. Yeah, if you scroll down, this dude is not a fan of you, lol. Yeah, this is his account.
The irony is devastating. The shooter came from the very communities now blaming him. These blue sky liberals created the exact type of person they're scapegoating others for. Their entire narrative just collapsed under the weight of basic facts.
If you're one of those liberals right now that's leaning into the Republican mania, one of those liberals right now that's leaning into the Republican mania and saying like, yeah, we got to do away with these violent radicals in our ranks, this one was your guy. Okay, yeah, PSA, if you're equating Hasan Piker with Nick Fuentes, what you're really saying is you don't actually listen to either. I do not listen to any streamers because streamers are dumb. He spent his last couple of days writing his manifesto about how he was going to kill people in the administration, retweeting Hasan takes. So remember that, you stupid liberals that think this is a good opportunity to not defend on principle the concept of criticizing the presidency. And if you're a stupid liberal right now, a right-wing liberal right now who thinks, oh, this is a great opportunity to lean in to the fascist Republican administration's attempts at cracking down on speech.
These liberal collaborators are playing with fire. By legitimizing censorship of violent leftists, They're handing Trump the tools to silence them next. Fascists always turn on their useful idiots once the real opposition is neutralized. History proves this repeatedly.
If you are anti-right, if you are anti-right wing in any capacity, the Republicans will come after you as well. It's not going to stop at people like myself. Don't be a idiot. Yeah, this is Kash Patel's girlfriend who was caught holding hands with another man during the incident, tweeting about me as well. We can all disagree peacefully. We can argue all day, but the lies are now so unfounded and so fabricated that they serve the same purpose of inciting violence. The unhinged portion of the media's contribution to this narrative and clear departure from verifying truth, as damaging and threatening as the violent leftist rhetoric that typically refuses to be reasoned with. Grateful for law enforcement and their work to keep us safe last night. Missed connection. I was the gentleman who held your hand in the restroom last night. Sorry the media is making a mess of chivalrous gesture. If you want to hang out again or see a movie sometimes, please direct message me. Jaubrey, is the FBI director a cuck? Please.
This is the test case for broader censorship under Trump too. They're using this incident to establish that criticizing the president equals inciting violence. Every anti-Trump voice, from radical to liberal, is now in the crosshairs. Resist this precedent now.